Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Rays, and today I'm going to be talking about Star Ocean. Again, the JP side only came out yesterday by telling us about the Star Ocean banner that was coming to the JP side, and it's already here. Pretty efficient, I gotta say. Also, just, kind of nice for me, who just makes a video one day and then thinking about what it's gonna be, and then hey, he answers. Cool. And yes, it's a little cold here tonight, so I got a nice blanket. I'm also a little tired, so let's go. So first of all, let's talk about where I think the bottom of the rung is, which is basically Fate. Fate on the global side, I mean, he has become totally irrelevant on that side. I mean, he just has fallen so far behind in terms of what a DPS is. And for people who are thinking that his enhancements are going to save him, probably not. Not unless they give him true dual wield bonus there, and even then he'll probably be, less good. But Fade on the global side did have some things that I really liked about his kit. For one thing, the ability to add a whole bunch of different elements to his attack and give himself some limit bursts. That was pretty nice. Oh yeah, I guess he could do that on the JB side too. But the point here is that on the JB side, Fate looks a lot less exciting than I could have basically thought he'd end up being. He was... yeah, I mean, on the JP side, he is not looking like he is going to be anything particularly special in terms of DPS, and that kind of just makes sense because his kit is pretty old and it doesn't really get enough to make it super worthwhile. So in his 7-star on the JP side, he will get his W casting abilities. He will get Enhanced Shotgun Bolt, which is backloaded AT chaining, but the backloaded hit is a 6 times, ignoring 50% defense. Sorry. 50% defense. So it's strong, but it's not going to be that strong. And I'll get to why in a little bit. Charge, Fate, 6-turn cooldown available turn 1. Increase attack 250% for 4 turns to the caster. Increase light resistance 100% for 4 turns to all allies. Big deal. There's so much light resistance on the JP side that just not needed. Not needed? Not needed. And enables a skill to the caster for 5 turns. That skill, I do believe, is just his triple cast, which, again, okay, but needing to unlock it is probably not great. And his last ability, Iconial Blast, which I think that's the correct translation of it. Light, 4-turn cooldown, available turn 4. Light physical damage of 12 times, ignoring 50% defense to all enemies. Decrease light resistance 120% for 3 turns to all enemies. Increase attack modifier for a whole bunch of other abilities, and it is a hard chaining, but it is a cooldown, so you're not going to be able to use it that often. And while the enhancements can't, or the boost that he gives himself can't be dispelled, it just feels really lackluster. I honestly just, and the other thing is that AT chaining, while it's not bad on the JP side, I just think here it's not enough. It's not enough. Not enough. Maybe if he had triple cast available like all the time, then maybe we would talk. But for equipping his own TMR or Super TMR, you get attack plus 50%, limit burst damage plus 100%, swordsman with an infinite sword boost basically to all his stuff, as well as 100% true dual hand. That's something we got to talk about. 10% MP recovery per turn, increase MP by 20%, 50% more attack, and another 50% true dual hand in his kit. Fate doubling down on true dual hand feels bad. True dual wield is just the stronger chaining option, and here it's just not that great. He also gives some extra modifiers to some of his old attacks, but nothing feels really that good in his TMR, which is 135 light element sword, means that with this guy you're basically kind of just needing him to get his super TMR, and even then super TMR doesn't feel that exciting. So I'm basically calling it right now. Fate. The Fates have willed it, and I just don't think you're that exciting. The only other thing that should be noted is that his 7-star limit burst on the JP side is an 80% down for all resistance for 3 turns to all enemies, but not enough. Not excited. Not interested. Fate. Your fate is in the trash. Okay, that's a little mean, but he's not coming back. I'm sorry, he's dead, Jim. Alright, so that's enough of Fate. Next up, let's move to Sophia. We're going to slowly move from right to left. It's not like I'm doing this for any other reason. And what to say about Sophia? Sophia ended up being pretty much her global counterpart, with a couple of key differences, and this is the big thing. Sophia's super TMR on the JP side is an accessory 60 magic, 30% fire resistance, 20% MP, and 50% magic, though I think at the time of this recording her super TMR is bugged, so if you already put and got her super TMR, A, congratulations on being lucky, or B, why were you spending that much money for Sophia? Seriously, even if she is your favorite unit, just no, don't do that. Compared to Global, where her Sophia's hairpin was 60 magic, 60 spirit, and 50% magic plus 20% MP and fire resistance, this just feels even worse to me. I can't believe that it's not as good. That's kind of shocking. I didn't even realize that earlier. But how about her stats and passives? Well, I mean, she gets some extra magic stat. She's a 218 opposed to Global's 215. Most of her modifiers are basically just higher, or there are ways in her kit, clicked on the wrong screen there, of making her stuff essentially stronger, but it pretty much feels like they just copy and pasted a lot of her kit, if not all of her kit. Let me just take one double check. There's definitely something that has been added, and I do believe it's kind of hard because the names are a little bit different from what they used to be. I do believe that the only thing that they've really given her over top... No, she even just has the triple cast. It's just listed in a different place. I guess basically the same attack. The only thing that's been changed, essentially, to her is the modifiers or bonuses or whatever you are doing is essentially higher now. So you're getting something extra from her. Instead of 200% magic, you're getting 250% magic and pentacasting per turn. Instead of, you know, the same modifiers, she has slightly higher modifiers. She has, you know, just general more. They just increase the numbers, basically. And I guess that's all they needed to do, but it's also a little bit disappointing because I would have been happy to see if there was at least some effort put into this. Like, even reading a lot of the passives and everything, just okay. So I'm not really going to talk about this anymore because essentially it's just higher percentages is basically it, like her limit burst. Global AoE 1200 and 90% magic attack, ignoring 50% spirit, and an AoE 100% fire resistant down, as opposed to on JP, where it is a fire magic of 17.8 times, or, you know, 1780, ignoring 50% spirit to all enemies, decreasing fire resistance 120% for 5 turns to all enemies. It's just higher numbers. That's it. The question is where does Sophia fit? What is my evaluation of her? And my evaluation is this. She's okay. Honestly, she's not exciting. She's not new, and if you were expecting any of these units to be the Summon Fest unit, you're insane, and you need to go to a doctor or a psychologist to get checked. Because, yeah, there was no way that any of these regular limited time units, maybe I don't know. What did I say yesterday? 0.001 chance? Or something ridiculously small that they might be more powerful? But Sophia's not. She comes underneath CG Dark Vina again, and that's the way it's just going to be. It's always going to be those Fest units that are just, you know, better than the limited units or the non-regular units. Although when we haven't had a non-limited banner, it's been a while. So Sophia's okay. Her modifiers and as well as her chaining options put her in a good spot on JP side. But if you were really going for a unit, CG Dark Vina is just better. And if you're going to go hunting for a limited unit, you probably should have just gone hunting for her at this point. Or wait for the next mage. Sophia is good, but unless you're a fan, move along. Move along. Move along. Also, I'm going to say one thing. Really disappointed we didn't get a brand new unit. Why not Maria? Star Ocean 3 and Star Ocean 2 and Star Ocean 1 are the ones that are most fondly remembered. Never going to see that Maria unit. And last but not least, Rena. Kind of a heartthrob of some of the people on the global side. I've definitely heard a lot of good things about Rena. And out of anybody on this banner, the one who probably is the most relevant is Rena. And Rena on the, global side was pretty cool. She had a decent Super TMR, a decent TMR. She had a pretty good kit that had a lot of options for people to use her in different ways. So great. What does she look like on the JP side? This is the one I'm going to spend the most time on. So buckle in. TMR is a Fist, 75 attack and Spirit, 30% MP and 5% MP per turn. Super TMR and accessory, 40 attack and Spirit, 40 attack and Spirit percent-wise, and 100% confused, paralyzed, and sleep resistance. As opposed to Global I think, is kind of a better TMR as it's more focused towards Spirit, which is more important for her. So yeah, I give probably that to Global. Shortcake on the Global side, which was a accessory, 54 Spirit, well-fed, recover 5% MP per turn, 2 burst. I'm probably going to give it to JP on this one. While the full, immunity thing is nice, I don't know. I'm just going with the JP side. Her base Spirit on JP is 214, and she can put an extra 65 points put into it. So a pretty nice amount of Spirit on her. Equipment-wise, basically staffs and fists and some clothing, and, that's all you really need in life, isn't it? Looking at her kit, though, let's just focus on the 7-star. Her first ability in her 7-star, Star Flare, 4-turn cooldown, available turn 4, is a light magic damage with a 45 times with Spirit scaling to all enemies attack. Increase in modifier 35 times for 3 turns to the caster for Star Flare. So Star Flare, which is her light magic damage, Spirit scaling to all enemies, gets a big modifier for using Star Flare Plus. Pretty good. I mean, that's a pretty strong hit. It's also, I believe, Mirror of Equity, the 8-hit, 6-frame chaining ability too. So it's a strong chaining ability, but 4 turns, it's kind of a little late. It does make her Star Flare more valuable though, so at least it has some benefit to players in the off turn. Deep Mist Plus, 5-turn cooldown, available turn 1. Mitigate magic damage taken by 50% for 3 turns to all allies. Not bad. Combined with another form of damage reduction, it should be a pretty great ability to have to just reduce the amount of magic damage in a lot of fights. Also recover 50% HP to all allies. Only available every 5 turns, leaves you a couple turns without, that magic mitigation, but still pretty good. Might Hammer. Okay. Might Hammer. Magic damage of a 17.5 times with spirit scaling to one enemy. Decrease spirit 65% for 3 turns to one enemy. And enable skill for 4 turns. Trident's Art Trident Arts, that ability that we just talked about is Absolute Mirror Equity. It's hard speaking tonight, really. I'm just so ready for a nap. It's a chaining ability, it's strong spirit scaling, and we'll talk about this in a second. The spirit debuff is also pretty nice on it, but a lot of bosses are not spirit breakable, so... And as for Trident Arts, it's a magic damage 35 times mod with a spirit scaling to one enemy. So basically it's a strong magic scaling, and you have that for spirit scaling ability. Again, it's starting to feel like this unit's a spirit chainer more than anything. Also, Full Stomach, cure spirit debuffs to all allies, increase spirit 180% for 3 turns to all allies, and recover 30 MP to all allies. I like this ability. Full Stomach's kind of cute. It's also a nice survivability thing. It just is a good spirit buff. Seems like a nice other part of her kit to have something else to do. Into her 7-star kit for passives, equipping her own TMR gives her 40% to defense, spirit, HP, and MP, and enables dual wielding. So by equipping her own TMR, or more preferably super TMR, you do get dual wielding right out of the gate. So that's pretty nice. And with her, again, we'll talk about the super TMR thing in a bit. 40% spirit increase, 7% extra, or 7% MP recovery per turn in her 7-star kit. 4 limit burst crystals per turn, increase MP, increase spirit 40%, 100% true dual wield spirit, increase modifier for Star Flare and Star Flare Plus for 3.4 and 10 times respectively. So again, her spirit chaining is pretty darn nice here. Her limit burst is cure all debuffs to allies, attack, defense, magic, and spirit. Increase all of them 200% for 3 turns to all allies. Heal HP 3000 with a 20 times mod split over 3 turns, and 120 MP with a 0.7 times mod split over 3 turns to all allies. Rena is by far, Rena, sorry. Rena. My brain is all over the place. Yeah, what to say about her? She's just a nice support character with some really good spirit chaining. Her actual modifiers put her, if not close, then slightly above Chocobo Fina. And that's really, really strong. She will need to get an element from somewhere, though. That seems to be the one thing in her kit that I do... Yes. Believe that she is missing. She has no way, to my memory, of being able to get a element on her attack. So you're going to need to have a element either from a staff or a fist, and that could be maybe a deal breaker for some, maybe a bit too difficult. There isn't a ton of options in fists or staffs. And she kind of needs her fist to get a big spirit boost in her kit. I mean, honestly, I don't hate Rena at all. I think Rena is quite good, just like she is on the global side, because she can do some really nice support abilities, as well as she has, incredibly strong spirit chaining here. Chocobo Fina does have some things that Rena doesn't have, though, like auto revive or natural element imbue in her kit. So it's a little this or that or the other, but out of all of them, Rena probably becomes the most relevant if you were looking for a unit to be really good. Chocobo Fina is basically the top spirit scaling unit in the entire game right now, so competition is potentially really good. But there is a big problem that I have here in recommending Rena, and that would be the old TMR problem. Basically, to get the most out of this girl, you're gonna need essentially a bet like her super TMR, so you can have more freedom with your equipment rather than just having her own TMR. And a limited time unit here obviously is a bit of a problem. We've talked about that way too much, but let's look at the step up banner, because woof, make it nice and big for you. Also, shout out to Nazda. Nazda was the one on Discord who screenshotted this for me, so I didn't have to go in the game. Thanks, Naz. Keep up the good work. Anyway, 21,500 lapis is the amount of lapis that you need to go through one run of this step up, and that... Wait, no it isn't. Somebody math wrong. It should be just 20,000 lapis. I read on the forum somewhere that it was... That's a misprint. Interesting. I found that. Reddit! Anyway, 1,500 lapis to go on the first one, which has a 1.2 times rate up. Step 2 has a 1.5 times rate with 3,500 lapis. Step 3 is 5,000 lapis and 2 times rates and gives you a limited time ticket. Step 4 is 5,000 lapis, gives you a guaranteed rainbow and a limited time ticket. And Step 5 guarantees you one of the 3, basically either Rena, Fate, or Sophia. 2 of which, one of which you probably don't want, which is Fate. Sorry, Fate. I actually do think you're kind of cool in the game that you're from, but not so much here. So, here's my problem with the step-up banner. You are going to have to invest a fair amount to get anything out of those limited time tickets. Those limited time tickets, you only get 2 for one entire run, so you're going to have to do 2.5 runs to basically get it. But there is one other thing to note. There is no guaranteed rainbow being a Star Ocean character on this banner. That hurts. That's the thing that's basically going to stop me from recommending anybody go on this banner, because number one, Fate is just not the DPS you're looking for. He's not. He's just not. Sophia, while being good, just probably, the way Alum's going next month, I'm sure there'll be a female character split with CG Dark Fina one more time, so you'll have probably a pretty good chance of getting her again that way. And last but not least, Rena, who is the best of the 3. I just feel like you could probably go with Chocobo Fina and still get basically a lot of the same stuff that Rena has. Slightly different, obviously, but support and DPS of a different kind. So I really don't think that this banner is remotely good, because there's no on banners. And while the rate ups are, kinda nice to some extent, overall it doesn't equal out to the same thing that you would get on a Summon Fest banner. So if you were going to go anyway, you might as well go on a Summon Fest, where it's just always 5% as opposed to a 1.2, a 1.5, and then a 2 for one step, and then you're back down to regular rates for Step 4 and Step 5, but with a promise of a guaranteed 2,000 for 20,000 lapis. I think you're just better to save for the next Summon Festival next month with some new CG character who will be power creepy. Power creepy? That's what I'm going with. Anyway, that's all for now. See you next time.